On a warm August afternoon in 2020, 25-year-old Sydney Sutherland laced up her running shoes, her spirit light, her intentions pure. What should have been a routine jog through the quiet, rural roads of Jackson County, Arkansas, was about to become a living nightmare. Sydney, a devoted nurse, had no way of knowing that a predator was watching, waiting, hidden in plain sight, ready to shatter not only her life but the very heart of a close-knit community. An ordinary Wednesday was about to become the catalyst for one of Arkansas's most disturbing crimes, revealing the chilling truth that evil can lurk amongst those we trust most. Sydney Claire Sutherland was the embodiment of small-town values and big-hearted compassion. Born to Maggie and Dion Sutherland, she was the youngest of three, undeniably cherished. Her older brothers, Tyler and Sam, were fiercely protective of their little sister, while her bond with her mother, Maggie, was truly extraordinary. They were best friends, speaking multiple times a day, doing virtually everything together. Growing up in Grubbs, a town of just over 300 where everyone knew everyone, Sydney flourished. This was a place where doors remained unlocked, children played freely, and crime was virtually non-existent. The palpable sense of community and safety molded Sydney's naturally bright and outgoing personality. An outstanding senior at Tuckerman High School, Sydney's yearbook quote perfectly captured her essence: "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." This wasn't just a teenage aspiration, it was the guiding principle of her adult life. Sydney found her gift in caring for others, dedicating herself as a registered nurse at Harris Medical Center in Newport. She had only recently passed her nursing boards, thriving in a role where her warmth and dedication endeared her to colleagues and patients alike. Her coworker, Jennifer Eddington, remembers a woman exceptionally close to her family, always radiating positivity. In her personal life, Sydney shared a loving 4-year relationship with her boyfriend, Alex. They made a home together, where Sydney found joy in her beloved dogs, regular workouts, shopping, and most especially, doting on her young nieces, who affectionately called her Aunt Sassy, a nickname that perfectly captured her playful spirit and the special bond she shared with the next generation. Physical fitness wasn't just a hobby for Sydney, it was a fundamental part of her identity. Her rigorous routine included gym sessions with a personal trainer and solitary runs through the peaceful countryside. These runs weren't just for physical health, they provided essential mental clarity, a quiet space to decompress from the emotional demands of her nursing career. The summer of 2020 had been particularly fulfilling. A wonderful family vacation to Destin, Florida, created memories that would become tragically precious. They returned home on August 18, refreshed, reconnected, and Sydney, especially, seemed content, eager to return to her routines after the rejuvenating break. August 19, 2020. It began like countless other days in Sydney's well-ordered life. Energized, she planned an active day, a gym session followed by an outdoor run. Her morning started at a Jonesboro gym, an hour with her personal trainer. Back home, Sydney attended to the mundane tasks that follow any vacation. Ring camera footage captured her, still in workout clothes, retrieving items from her car, methodically unpacking from the Florida trip. Despite already completing a strenuous workout, the outdoors beckoned. Before settling in, Sydney visited her mother, Maggie, to drop off accumulated mail. Mother and daughter chatted comfortably. Sydney mentioned wanting to bake brownies or cookies and, of course, getting in a run. Maggie, ever the protective mother, gently cautioned her against overdoing it. "Don't push yourself too hard," she advised, knowing Sydney's demanding standards. But Sydney laughed it off. Working out was integral to her life. Skipping a run just because she'd already hit the gym felt wrong. The weather was perfect, she craved that solitary clarity. Maggie watched her daughter walk away, utterly unaware that this casual farewell would be their last conversation. Sydney returned home, meticulously set up her Apple Watch to track her run, and stepped into the warm afternoon air around 2:30 p.m. The route Sydney chose was as familiar as her own backyard, State Highway 18 between Newport and Grubbs. Quintessential Arkansas countryside, wide open spaces, scattered farmhouses, peaceful isolation perfect for long, contemplative runs. Traffic was typically light, mostly locals and the occasional delivery vehicle. Between 2:30 and 3 p.m. a UPS driver on his regular route spotted Sydney jogging. He remembered her clearly, not because anything seemed unusual, but because encounters were rare on those sparsely populated roads. Sydney appeared to be enjoying her run, moving steadily, unaware of any looming danger. What the UPS driver couldn't have known was that Sydney wasn't alone. 28-year-old Quake Llewellyn was also on County Road 41. Llewellyn was well known, a third-generation farmer managing 6,000 acres with his family. The Llewellyns had even been honored as Jackson County Farm Family of the Year in 2016, cementing their reputation as upstanding pillars of the agricultural community. According to investigators, Llewellyn was driving westbound when he first saw Sydney running. But rather than simply continuing on his way, something dark and predatory ignited within him. Police believe he made a deliberate decision to turn his vehicle around, to pursue the unsuspecting runner. What happened next would forever shatter the peace of Jackson County and destroy multiple lives in unimaginable ways. The attack was swift and brutal. Llewellyn allegedly used his pickup truck as a weapon, deliberately striking Sydney as she ran. The impact of a large vehicle against her petite 103-pound frame would have been devastating, likely leaving her severely injured, unable to escape or call for help. But rather than seeking medical assistance, or even fleeing the scene, Llewellyn made a calculated decision. He continued his assault. After striking Sydney, Llewellyn loaded her unconscious or semi-conscious body into his truck. He drove to a secluded area near his family's farmland, a place he knew intimately. There, in the isolated darkness, he sexually assaulted the helpless young woman. The attack was not only physically brutal, but a complete betrayal of the community trust that had defined rural Arkansas life for generations. When his assault was finished, Llewellyn faced a choice that would define him as something far more sinister than an opportunistic predator. He made the cold-blooded decision to end her life. The medical examiner would later determine the cause of death as multiple blunt force injuries, suggesting a prolonged and deliberate act of violence. To cover his tracks, Llewellyn buried Sydney's body in a shallow grave in a field near his property. The location, chosen with deliberate calculation, was close enough to his familiar territory for easy access, yet remote enough that discovery seemed unlikely. After this final act of desecration, Llewellyn returned to his normal routine as if nothing had happened, demonstrating a callousness that would shock even experienced investigators. The investigation into Sydney Sutherland's disappearance began just hours after she failed to return home. Her boyfriend, Alex, grew increasingly worried. This was unlike her. She was religiously punctual, never causing alarm. Calls went to voicemail, texts unread, Snapchats unopened, all glaring red flags. Maggie, Sydney's mother, confirmed she hadn't heard from her daughter since their afternoon chat. By early evening, the terrifying realization set in. In Grubbs, serious crime was inconceivable. Alex and Maggie desperately hoped for an accident, a fall, an injury, somewhere along her route, unable to call for help. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office received the missing person report. Sheriff David Lucas, who knew the Sutherlands personally, knew this was profoundly out of character. By 7 a.m. on August 20th, the search exploded into one of the largest law enforcement operations Jackson County had ever seen. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office coordinated with the Arkansas Department of Correction, State Police, U.S. Marshals, the FBI, and 3 additional police departments, a testament to Sydney's impact and the urgency of the situation. The community response was immediate, overwhelming. 300 volunteers joined the official search teams, abandoning their own lives to comb difficult terrain, calling Sydney's name, clinging to desperate hope. Technology played a crucial role. Sydney had her cell phone and Apple Watch, providing digital breadcrumbs. AT&T data confirmed her last known location, where the UPS driver had seen her, providing vital geographical boundaries. The breakthrough came on August 20th. Searchers found Sydney's iPhone, undamaged, lying on the ground about a quarter-mile from her home. It had been deliberately discarded. Sydney had made it further than anyone suspected, and something had happened in that precise area. During the search, investigators interviewed locals. One who came forward was Quake Llewellyn. He said he'd seen Sydney jogging, insisting nothing seemed wrong, no one following her. What investigators didn't realize was that Llewellyn's helpfulness was a calculated move. A common tactic for perpetrators, inserting themselves into the investigation to monitor progress and deflect suspicion. Llewellyn even joined Facebook groups dedicated to finding Sydney and participated in search efforts. The investigation took a dramatic turn on August 21. Llewellyn voluntarily walked into the Arkansas State Police Station, ostensibly to provide more information. He told investigators he might have been the last person to see Sydney alive, a technically true statement, delivered to appear helpful rather than guilty. Both Llewellyn and his father gave permission to search his pickup truck. A critical mistake. The examination of Llewellyn's vehicle immediately revealed damning evidence: blood on the tailgate. He transformed from witness to prime suspect. His cell phone data placed him in the exact vicinity where Sydney's phone was found. GPS tracking aligned his movements with the timeline of her disappearance. Perhaps most damning: CCTV footage from Llewellyn's own property. It captured him leaving, and returning later with a visible dent in the truck that hadn't been there before. Under the weight of mounting evidence, Llewellyn's facade crumbled. During questioning, he admitted to striking Sydney with his truck, but initially claimed it was an accident, caused by a dust cloud obscuring his vision. He said he panicked, loaded her into his truck rather than seeking medical help. But his confession soon revealed a far more sinister truth. He admitted to driving around with Sydney's body, before removing her clothes and, in his chilling words, messing with her before burying her. He even told detectives he'd disposed of his clothing from the crime in a laundry basket at his mother's house, a level of premeditation that shattered his claims of panic. The search of his mother's home yielded crucial evidence. A black shirt with blonde hair, and black and pink shorts, matching what Sydney had been wearing and later confirmed by DNA. On August 21, just 3 days after Sydney vanished, the investigation reached its tragic conclusion. Searchers discovered Sydney's body, buried in a shallow grave in a field near Llewellyn's family farm. The remote location, nearly impossible to find without specific knowledge of the area, further implicated Llewellyn beyond doubt. Legal proceedings against Quake Llewellyn began swiftly. Within days of Sydney's body being found, he was formally charged with capital murder, rape, kidnapping, and abuse of a corpse. In November 2020, his defense requested a mental health evaluation. By February 2021, he was deemed competent. The psychologist revealed chilling details. Llewellyn described going home after murdering Sydney, eating dinner with his family, trying to forget. He claimed it was all just a blur and that he knew he didn't kill her on purpose. As the case progressed, the overwhelming evidence against him made a successful defense impossible. Llewellyn's confessions, combined with physical evidence, digital tracking, and witness testimony, created an insurmountable burden. His attorneys explored a plea agreement to spare his life while ensuring he would never walk free. Prosecutor Petty involved Sydney's family extensively, ensuring their wishes were prioritized. On October 1, 2021, over a year after Sydney's murder, Llewellyn appeared in Jackson County Circuit Court. Looking significantly thinner, he pleaded guilty to capital murder and rape, in exchange for life in prison without the possibility of parole. The kidnapping and abuse of a corpse charges were dismissed, removing the death penalty from the table. During the hearing, Sydney's family delivered powerful victim impact statements. Their grief, their anger, their profound loss. But also, their incredible strength and dignity. The most memorable moment came when Sydney's mother, Maggie Sutherland, addressed Llewellyn directly. She commanded him to look her in the eyes, and he complied. "She was not yours to take," Maggie told him, her voice filled with both pain and steel. "The hands you hugged me with are the same hands you killed her with." She asked haunting questions that would forever remain unanswered. Did she fight you? Did she cry? Did she ask for her brothers? Sydney's father, Dion Sutherland, delivered his own searing statement, calling Llewellyn a 300-pound coward that hit my 100-pound daughter with a 3,000-pound truck. The stark contrast emphasized the predatory nature of the attack, and Sydney's complete helplessness in her final moments. The murder of Sydney Sutherland stands as a devastating reminder that evil can lurk behind the most familiar faces, and tragedy can strike even in the places we consider safest. On that warm August afternoon, a young woman's peaceful run transformed into an unthinkable encounter with a predator hiding among those who should have protected her. Sydney's story resonates far beyond Jackson County, touching on fundamental questions about trust, safety, and the random nature of violence. Her case is both a memorial to a life tragically cut short and a stark reminder of the ongoing need for vigilance and community support in protecting the most vulnerable. The response to Sydney's disappearance and murder revealed both the best and worst of human nature. The immediate mobilization of hundreds of volunteers, the coordination of multiple law enforcement agencies, and the sustained commitment to finding answers demonstrated the profound impact one person can have on a community. At the same time, the killer's manipulation and deception, participating in search efforts while knowing everything, revealed a callousness that defies comprehension. Perhaps most importantly, Sydney's legacy continues to inspire positive action. Through the scholarship established in her name, future healthcare professionals will receive support, ensuring Sydney's spirit of compassion and service benefits countless lives. For Maggie Sutherland and her family, the journey of grief and healing continues. Their strength, their grace, and their commitment to honoring Sydney's memory through positive action, provide inspiration. Their example shows that while justice can never fully restore what has been lost, it can provide a foundation for moving forward, finding meaning even in the deepest pain. As communities grapple with the safety challenges facing women who exercise alone, Sydney's story serves as both a cautionary tale and a call to action. Her death reminds us that predators often hide in plain sight, and even trusted community members may harbor dark secrets. But her life reminds us that one person's commitment to helping others, showing compassion, and spreading joy can create ripple effects that extend far beyond their years on Earth. Sydney Sutherland's run on August 19, 2020, ended in tragedy. But her journey through life created a legacy of love, service, and inspiration that continues to touch lives across Arkansas and beyond.